Imagine standing in your kitchen, the aroma of freshly baked cookies filling the air, only to realize that the very tool you used to ensure they didn't stick to the pan might be leaching toxic. Forever chemicals into every single bite. Most of us reach for parchment paper without a second thought, trusting it as a safe, heat-resistant barrier between our food and the metal tray. But what if I told you that some of the most popular brands on store shelves are hiding a dark secret? From heavy metals like chromium to persistent organic pollutants known as PFAS, the parchment paper industry is riddled with hidden dangers that could be compromising your family's health with every meal. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the brands you need to purge from your pantry immediately. We've done the deep research, analyzed the lab reports, and looked at the chemical compositions to bring you the definitive list of the 7 parchment paper brands you should never use again. This isn't just about a burnt cookie. It's about the invisible toxins that accumulate in your body over decades, linked to everything from hormonal disruption to increased cancer risks. If you care about what goes into your body as much as what goes into your oven, you cannot afford to ignore this. Starting our countdown at number 7, we have the ubiquitous Kirkland Signature parchment paper from Costco. For many bulk shoppers, this is a staple because of its incredible value and massive roll size. However, recent independent laboratory testing has raised some serious eyebrows. While many assume that a culinary-grade paper would be pristine, tests conducted by environmental wellness groups found detectable levels of organic fluorine in Kirkland's parchment. Organic fluorine is a primary marker for PFAS, or per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. These are the infamous forever chemicals that do not break down in the environment or the human body. While the levels found in Kirkland were lower than some fast food wrappers, the mere presence of these chemicals in a product designed for high heat cooking is a major red flag. When you heat parchment paper to 400 degrees, you aren't just baking your food, you are potentially facilitating the migration of these synthetic compounds directly into your dinner. For a brand that millions trust for quality, the lack of a PFAS-free certification makes it a risky gamble that simply isn't worth the savings. Moving to number 6, we must discuss the budget-friendly Clover Valley brand, often found in discount retailers. The danger here isn't just about what might be in the paper, but what is explicitly used to coat it. Many budget brands like Clover Valley utilize a coating known as Quilon. Unlike the more expensive silicone coatings used by premium brands, Quilon is a chemical complex that contains chromium, a heavy metal. While the industry claims that the trivalent chromium used in Quilon is safe, the concern arises during the manufacturing process and the potential for chemical breakdown under high heat. Furthermore, Quilon-coated papers are often bleached with chlorine to achieve that bright white look. This bleaching process can leave behind trace amounts of dioxins, which are among the most toxic chemicals known to science. When you combine heavy metal coatings with chlorine-bleached paper, you are looking at a cocktail of industrial byproducts that have no business being anywhere near your oven. It's a classic case of getting what you pay for, and in this case, the low price tag comes with a high toxicological cost. At number 5, we find the household giant, Reynolds Kitchens parchment paper. This is perhaps the most recognizable brand on the list, found in almost every grocery store across the country. You might think that such a massive company would be at the forefront of safety, but the reality is more complicated. While Reynolds has made statements regarding the absence of certain chemicals, they have been slow to provide the kind of transparent, third-party verified PFAS-free labeling that health-conscious consumers are demanding. In various independent spot checks of kitchen essentials, brands under the Reynolds umbrella have occasionally shown markers for fluorine. The issue with a brand this large is the sheer scale of their supply chain. Without a rigorous public-facing commitment to being 100% PFAS-free across all product lines, there is always a lingering doubt. When you're roasting vegetables at high temperatures for 45 minutes, that doubt becomes a legitimate health concern. The lack of absolute transparency from such a dominant market leader is why many experts suggest looking for smaller, more specialized brands that build their entire reputation on non-toxic purity. Coming in at number 4 is the Up brand from Target. Much like other big box store brands, Up focuses on providing a cheaper alternative to name brands. but this often leads to compromises in material sourcing. Target's store brand has faced scrutiny in the past across various product categories, from dental floss to bandages for containing elevated levels of organic fluorine. When it comes to their parchment paper, the lack of specific unbleached and silicone-only guarantees is a major concern. Many of these generic papers are sourced from massive paper mills that use recycled materials or industrial-grade pulping processes that can introduce contaminants. If the paper is bright white, it has been bleached with chlorine, and if it doesn't explicitly state it is PFAS-free, there is a high probability it contains those grease-resistant, forever chemicals to keep the paper from disintegrating under the weight of oily foods. Using a product that hasn't been strictly vetted for these substances means you are essentially using your family as a test group for industrial chemical exposure. At number 3, we have the Great Value brand from Walmart. As the largest retailer in the world, Walmart's reach is unparalleled, and their Great Value parchment paper is used in millions of homes. However, Great Value often translates to lowest common denominator in terms of safety standards. Similar to other budget options, Great Value parchment is frequently bleached and may utilize Quilon or other less-than-ideal non-stick coatings. More alarmingly, Walmart's supply chain has a history of transparency issues. When independent labs test value brands, they often find higher concentrations of environmental contaminants compared to premium, eco-certified alternatives. The risk of heavy metal, leaching, and the presence of endocrine-disrupting chemicals is simply too high. When you are dealing with a product that is subjected to the intense heat of a modern oven, baking is supposed to be a joy, not a source of chemical anxiety, and relying on the cheapest possible paper is a shortcut that could lead to long-term health complications that no amount of savings can justify. Our runner-up at number 2 is a category of brands rather than a single name. The commercial-grade, unbranded parchment sheets, often sold in bulk on massive online marketplaces. These are the plain white boxes that promise professional results at a fraction of the cost. The danger here is the complete lack of accountability. Many of these products are manufactured in overseas facilities with little to no oversight from health and safety regulators. They are almost universally bleached with chlorine and often use industrial-grade coatings that are designed for maximum non-stick performance without any regard for food safety. Some of these professional sheets have been found to contain not just PFAS, but also trace amounts of lead and other heavy metals used in the pulping and coating machinery. Because there is no brand name to protect, these manufacturers have no incentive to ensure their products are non-toxic. They are designed for one-time use in high-volume environments, where the only goal is to keep the food from sticking, making them some of the most dangerous items in your kitchen. Finally, at number 1, the brand you must avoid at all costs is any parchment paper that is bleached, white, and lacks a PFAS-free certification, specifically those marketed as non-stick professional grade without a clear ingredient list. This represents the pinnacle of kitchen deception. The bright white color is a siren song of cleanliness that actually signals the presence of dioxins from the chlorine-bleaching process. The professional non-stick claim is often achieved through the heavy application of PFAS-laden coatings that are specifically engineered to withstand extreme heat and grease, the exact conditions that cause these chemicals to migrate into your food. These papers are the silent invaders of the culinary world, turning a healthy home-cooked meal into a delivery system for some of the most persistent toxins on the planet. By choosing these products, you are ignoring decades of research into the dangers of endocrine disruptors and environmental pollutants. The only way to truly protect your health is to demand unbleached, TCF-certified, and silicone-coated paper from brands that are willing to prove their purity with third-party lab results. In conclusion, the convenience of parchment paper should never come at the expense of your long-term well-being. We live in an era where industrial chemicals are found in the blood of almost every human on Earth, and our kitchens should be a sanctuary from these toxins, not a source of them. By purging these 7 dangerous brands from your home and switching to truly safe, unbleached, and PFAS-free alternatives, You are taking a powerful step toward a cleaner, healthier life. Remember, the most important ingredient in any recipe isn't the flour or the sugar. It's the safety of the tools you use to prepare it. Don't let a simple sheet of paper be the weak link in your family's health. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and always choose purity over price. Your body will thank you for years to come.